What's really going on with Bruno Mars? The man with the golden voice and electrifying stage presence, who's captivated millions around the world, now finds himself at the center of swirling rumors and shocking headlines. A jaw-dropping $50 million deal? Legal trouble? And Bruno's response? Let's just say, it wasn't what fans expected. In this deep dive, we're peeling back the curtain on the truth, the rumors, and the untold story of a superstar who keeps us all guessing. From the vibrant streets of Waikiki to global superstardom, the rise of Bruno Mars is a story that feels like a movie. A story of talent, hustle, heartbreak, and resilience. Born Peter Gene Hernandez on October 8, 1985 in Honolulu, Hawaii, Bruno was surrounded by music from day one. His dad, Peter, was Puerto Rican with Jewish roots from Brooklyn. His mom, Bernadette San Pedro Bayo, was a Filipino immigrant with Spanish heritage. And that iconic nickname? Bruno came from his dad, who thought his chubby little son looked like the famous wrestler Bruno Sammartino. It stuck. The world would come to know him as Bruno Mars. As a kid, Bruno soaked up every sound around him. He learned to play drums, guitar, piano, and percussion. But life wasn't always smooth. At age 12, everything changed. His parents divorced. The family's music group, the Love Notes, dissolved. Money got tight. Really tight. There were nights the family slept in the back of a car. Other times they lived in tiny apartments or even on rooftops. But Bruno never lost focus. He found new inspiration in legends like Jimi Hendrix, and by his teens he was performing all over Hawaii, including with a band called the Schoolboys. At 17, Bruno made a bold move, Los Angeles, a city of dreams and heartbreak. He adopted the name Bruno Mars, partly because people said he was out of this world, and partly to avoid being stereotyped in the music industry. But the reality? Bruno struggled. He lived in rough neighborhoods, worked odd jobs, and though he signed with Motown Records in 2004, he was dropped in under a year. Still, he didn't quit. In 2005, a publishing deal with producers Steve Lindsay and Cameron Strang gave him a second shot. Bruno dove into songwriting, crafting hooks, and learning how to build a hit from the ground up. He formed a band, Sex Panther, and kept hustling. Then, a fateful meeting in 2006. Aaron Bay Shuck, a young exec at Atlantic Records. He saw Bruno's talent instantly, but it still took nearly 3 years for Bruno to officially sign with the label. And then, the breakout moment. Bruno's voice exploded onto the scene with features on 2 massive hits, Nothing on You with B.O.B., Billionaire with Travie McCoy. Both songs shot up the charts. Nothing on You even hit #1. Just like that, the world was watching. By 2013, Bruno was pulling in over $18 million a year. By 2017, he was the 6th highest-paid celebrity in the world, raking in $39 million in just 12 months. His Super Bowl halftime shows in 2014 and 2016 were cultural events. Electrifying, unforgettable, iconic. But behind the glitz and Grammys, challenges lurked in the shadows. In 2010, just as his star was rising, Bruno Mars found himself in trouble. After a performance in Las Vegas, security grew suspicious of his behavior in a casino restroom. What followed was an arrest that shocked fans and cast a shadow over his career. Bruno admitted he'd made a mistake and expressed deep regret. Rather than fight the charges, he cooperated fully. He completed community service, attended educational programs, and by 2012, the case was dismissed. He moved forward, humbled but not broken. Then came the copyright wars. In 2014, Bruno Mars and Travie McCoy found themselves at the center of a legal firestorm. Songwriter Demetrius Orlandus Proctor accused the duo of lifting the melody for their hit Billionaire. But this wasn't just a casual complaint, it was an all-out legal battle. Proctor wasn't messing around. He claimed he had a registered copyright spanning an enormous 30-volume cassette collection titled Frisky, Volumes 1 through 30. And he didn't just want credit. He wanted total annihilation. Every copy of Billionaire, physical and digital, erased from existence. But the case didn't hold up under scrutiny. Proctor had failed to properly serve Travie McCoy with legal papers, a basic but crucial step. Even more damaging to his claim, he never specified which parts of Billionaire were allegedly copied. Without clear evidence, his lawsuit collapsed. And in the end, the court dismissed the case. So, what's really going on with Bruno Mars? He's a man who rose from humble beginnings to the very peak of global pop music. Along the way, he's made mistakes, and he's owned them. He's weathered lawsuits, endured public pressure, and navigated the relentless chaos of fame. And through it all, he's never stopped creating, never stopped performing, never stopped inspiring. As for that rumored $50 million Las Vegas residency deal, Bruno has kept quiet. No dramatic press releases, no interviews, just silence. But if history has shown us anything, it's this. Bruno Mars lets the music do the talking. And just when he was soaring off the success of 24K Magic, another controversy came crashing in. Released in November 2016, 24K Magic was a massive hit. Bruno Mars was back on top. But one song on the album would soon spark a legal saga that would haunt him for years. Uptown Funk. Produced by Mark Ronson and featuring Bruno's electrifying vocals, Uptown Funk was unstoppable. It topped charts, dominated dance floors, defined an era. But beneath the glitz and glamour, cracks began to form. Multiple artists stepped forward, accusing the song of borrowing a little too much from their work. And the biggest accusation came from funk legends, the Gap Band. They claimed Uptown Funk sounded way too similar to their 1979 classic Oops Upside Your Head. And the court? It seemed to agree. The result? A quiet but costly settlement. The members of the Gap Band were added as co-writers and awarded a sizable 17.7% of the publishing royalties. That alone would have been enough drama for any artist. But it didn't stop there. The headlines triggered a ripple effect. Serbian pop star Victoria accused the song of resembling her work, but ultimately chose not to pursue legal action. Others weren't so forgiving. The 80s electro-funk group Collage filed a lawsuit, claiming Uptown Funk borrowed heavily from their track Young Girls. Meanwhile, the pioneering hip-hop trio The Sequence argued the song plagiarized their hit Funk You Up. Suddenly, what started as a global hit had become a lightning rod for legal battles, each claim chipping away at the polished surface of one of Bruno Mars's most iconic tracks. It was clear, the price of success can be steep, and when a song becomes that big, it's bound to draw more than applause. Then in 2017, yet another claim emerged. LRDA Entertainment entered the picture, pointing fingers at similarities between Uptown Funk and the funk staple More Bounce to the Ounce by the group Zapp. While many of these legal disputes were settled or dropped, the controversy surrounding Uptown Funk revealed deeper issues about originality, inspiration, and who really gets credit in today's music industry. Music critics and fans were divided. Some praised Mars and Ronson for breathing new life into the funk genre, while others accused them of leaning too heavily on the sounds of the past. The debate wasn't just musical, it was cultural. Bruno, a multiracial artist of Filipino, Puerto Rican, and Jewish descent, faced accusations of cultural appropriation, specifically profiting off the legacy of black funk music. Vocal critics like Sensei Aishatu, speaking on the popular web series The Grapevine, argued that Mars repackaged black culture in a way that was more palatable to mainstream, predominantly white audiences. And just when it seemed like the dust was settling, a new chapter began. In January 2021, the heirs of Gap Band members Robert and Ronnie Wilson launched another lawsuit, this time against BMG Rights Management. They claimed that BMG, which had acquired the Gap Band's publisher in 2015, had failed to pay out agreed royalties tied to Uptown Funk. According to the lawsuit, the brothers were promised 3.4% of the copyright in exchange for their contribution to the hit. But the money? It never came. The Wilson estate demanded over $75,000 in damages, plus 9% interest annually dating all the way back to 2015. BMG, for its part, denied any wrongdoing and insisted that no settlement had occurred. Then, in an unexpected move, the lawsuit was voluntarily dropped just 3 months later in April 2021, without prejudice, meaning it could be revived at any time. Despite the mounting legal drama, Bruno Mars stayed focused on what he does best, making music, performing live, and keeping the world dancing. While the controversies surrounding Uptown Funk were undoubtedly intense, they did little to slow down Bruno Mars's meteoric rise. If anything, they seemed to sharpen his awareness of the legal tightrope artists must walk in today's music industry, and the ever-growing importance of originality. But just as the dust was settling, a new storm began to brew. In early 2021, shocking rumors surfaced. Rumors that painted a very different picture of the chart-topping superstar. Whispers spread that Bruno Mars had racked up an enormous gambling debt, allegedly owing a staggering $50 million to MGM Resorts International. The story suggested that Mars's love for high-stakes gambling had spiraled out of control, putting him in serious financial trouble. Some sources claimed that Mars was using a significant chunk of his Las Vegas residency income just to cover the debt, implying he was, in essence, owned by MGM. Fans and media outlets were stunned. How could a global superstar, reportedly making around $90 million a year from sold-out Vegas shows, be trapped in such a financial bind? The rumors gained even more traction when fans revisited a 2016 carpool karaoke episode with James Corden. During the segment, Mars casually joked about using gambling to pay his bills in the past. It was a throwaway comment, lighthearted at the time, but now some were wondering if it held a deeper truth. As speculation swirled, MGM Resorts broke their silence. In a firm and direct statement, the company categorically denied all allegations. They insisted that the rumors were completely false, praising Mars as a valued partner and highlighting the respect and admiration they held for his contributions to their venues, particularly Park MGM. No secret debts, no shady arrangements, just a strong business relationship. But even with MGM's forceful denial, the story refused to die. It was simply too compelling to ignore. The combination of fame, fortune, and the dark allure of gambling created a narrative that some just couldn't let go of. And then, just as this scandal simmered in the background, Bruno Mars made headlines again. But this time, it had nothing to do with controversy. In 2023, Mars and his Silk Sonic partner Anderson.Paak shocked fans and critics by withdrawing their Grammy-nominated album, An Evening with Silk Sonic, from award consideration. The album had been both a critical and commercial triumph, with their single Leave the Door Open sweeping multiple Grammys the previous year. So why step back now? According to Mars, the overwhelming love and praise they'd already received was enough. They didn't need more trophies to validate the project. For them, the real reward was the connection with fans. And with that, they bowed out gracefully, choosing to shine the spotlight on other deserving artists. The Recording Academy respected the decision, but it left many puzzled. Why would two artists at the height of their powers opt out of music's biggest night? Some speculated that Mars, already facing whispers about his personal life, wanted to avoid more public attention. After all, another Grammy sweep would only intensify the spotlight, potentially reigniting past debates over originality and authenticity. But those skeptics would soon be proven wrong. In August 2024, Mars pulled off another surprise. This time, it wasn't a rumor. It was a musical comeback. Bruno Mars teamed up with none other than Lady Gaga to release a brand new single, With a Smile. The announcement was teased with cryptic social media posts, including the two artists swapping merchandise, an unexpected move that sent fans into a frenzy. The track itself was a heartfelt exploration of love, connection, and the emotional ups and downs of life. For many, it felt like a personal statement, maybe even a subtle response to the criticism and scrutiny both artists have endured over the years. The buzz was electric. The song marked a powerful return for both Mars and Gaga, reminding the world of their unmatched ability to blend artistry with vulnerability. As fans eagerly await Bruno Mars's next chapter, one thing is crystal clear. Whether he's lighting up a stage, dodging rumors, or dropping chart-topping hits, he always keeps us guessing. And whatever comes next, it's sure to be unforgettable.